Hey people, I'm in the outdoor living room today because the house is full of people. I have found myself, it's one of these, it's one of these days when I've found myself just getting messages from the universe, and it's kind of like, just sitting down and taking a moment to reflect on what I'm going to say for this post. All of a sudden, those, it's almost like it becomes apparent what is coming through, what little moments are speaking to me in the day. And today, what's oddly kind of coming through is, I know I've been doing a lot of work and I've been having a lot of conversations around the idea of death lately and the ending of life here on this plane. I did a post while I was up in Michigan about Sleeping Bear and how our Western interpretation of stories where characters die, especially central characters die, is often that's tragic or sad. It's a sad story in some way, whereas this legend of Sleeping Bear, as a Native American myth and as a Native American origin story for how the land got to be the way it is, doesn't actually feel like it is a sad story, even though the characters we're following, the bears, all die. So I've had this kind of like brewing within me, and I woke up this morning and happened to be looking at something. It was a piano. I was just kind of researching some piano videos, and Josh Wright posted a video about performance anxiety, where the title was "How to Overcome Performance Anxiety. Pretend You'll Die." And it was a sort of, somewhat playful, but also somewhat serious sort of encouragement to really clock that this moment in which something is happening is the only moment that we know we have. In other words, pretending like we're going to die tomorrow or after this performance is not some morbid encouragement to be afraid or to live in fear, but it's an acknowledgement of the fact that whatever our fear is about, if it's performance anxiety or this, obviously that could be like, you could have that around public speaking. You could have it around any number of things that people have fears around. But whatever that fear is of is some sort of illusion. It's some sort of illusory imposition of the mind upon what's happening, upon what we're doing now. And in some way, our performance, our competence, our excellence are all being judged, and they're being scrutinized in a way that makes us uncomfortable, that makes us wonder if they're measuring up, whatever. But recognizing that this moment in which we're existing, what if it's the last one? And this is something, especially from talking to, close friends and people I'm working with about their experiences of other people dying. That's really the way it is. We don't know. We don't know whether the next moment, whether tomorrow is promised to us. And again, it's sort of not to, I don't take that as a kind of like imperative to dwell in the morbid or to be afraid of it, but rather there's something really enlivening, and I think that's what I'm getting in touch with as I think this through, and I think that's maybe why the messages are kind of hitting me right now, because there's something that I get in touch with that's actually liberating. It's actually like I feel the bounds of my self-concern relax as soon as I recognize the sort of like immensity of this moment and what it actually means to be here. and how temporary that is. How very, very temporary that is. There's something about the aging process and watching a child go to school. There's something about transitions, I think, in my life that is it's just kind of giving me little flares, little sparks of insight into life is temporary. And it's amazing to me, one of the things that has always amazed me is when I think back over my life, I have a pretty vivid memory, or I don't have a vivid memory of every moment of my life, but I have pretty vivid memories of most of my life, going all the way back into early childhood. As, probably most people do, or many people do. But when I think about those memories, it literally feels like they could have all happened yesterday. It truly feels like there has been no time between now and these memories. And obviously that's not true in terms of like the flow of time, but I'm wondering whether it might be true in terms of the nature of consciousness. If the nature of consciousness is timeless, out of time, beyond time, it's the framework, the literally the space within which the dimension of time comes into existence. Maybe it's actually true that no time has elapsed between now and all these memories. And what that proposes, if it's been one instant since I was 7 years old in Germany on the playground at school, or one instant since I was 14 in my bedroom with my bench press sitting next to me, and my Axl Rose poster on the wall, if it's been one instant since then, what's it going to feel like when I'm twice my age? It's going to feel like one instant. And that's how I take this imperative of imagine you're going to die tomorrow. It's actually in that, because in a sense it's actually true. In a sense, death is going to happen in one instant. It's going to take 40 or 50 years from now, hopefully. But there's something about that reframe, and there's something about the perspective upon what it means for life to be temporary, and why that's not a problem. How we can lean into that and perceive it as beautiful and a gift rather than a limitation or a dark fate. That's kind of what's resonating for me today. Is for some reason these are the little popcorn messages I'm getting from the universe, flashing in my awareness and just kind of sparking an observation and a bit of an investigation of being temporary. And what if that's not a scary thought? What if that's a joyful thought? What if that's an encouraging thought? It's just really interesting to see a piano video where someone's saying, pretend you're going to die. Pretend the scariest thing that most humans can ever imagine is going to happen. That's how you're going to get over your fear of performance anxiety. It reframed my thinking in a kind of a fun way. So that's what's coming through today, folks. Yeah. Maybe I'll do another post where I musicalize this idea. It feels like music. It's calling for music. But I'll be back with you tomorrow. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.